Copeland
86.
looking at 86. May just be a dart at the ball to level up at 1-1.
It's going to be double 16 instead. And he can find what Wayne Jones couldn't. We are level in the first game.
Particularly because there was nothing particularly obscure. Well, there was nothing obscuring at all. Copeland 2-8s. Double 4.
Game shot on the
Clutch.
six leg.
Clutch from Copeland, and we go the distance in our first game as Wayne Jones steps up. And it's going to have to be 16 ball here after that slip into the single 4. Bullseye for the match. Bullseye 45. For the win. But it grazes the 25 80. Wire.
He has been hanging on the entire match for the possibility of one chance. And the chance he takes. Barry Copeland takes out the Group A winner in the first game of the night. Wayne Jones has still got a chance of getting through this group, but he's going to have to wait a long time before he can do anything about it. As for Barry, by the time Wayne comes back to the hockey, he might be through as the winner of Group number 1. There you see another disparity between averages. This time it's by 6 points, but that one goes to Northern Ireland. And now we take a short break before it's Poland against Wales to start Group 2.
From this point onwards, he's got 6 on 68.
One player is playing to type, one isn't. And the person who's playing to type is 3-1 up. May I ask you the same question that Chris Murphy asked me earlier? Apart from the bullseye.
He looks a man so assured of himself right now, does Kurt Parry.
58.
He's off to defend his Champion of Champions title next week in Cardiff. He may well do it as the weekly winner. And that double 16 puts his Saturday night campaign off to a perfect start. Kurt Parry gets the better of Christoph Kachuk by 4 legs to 2. It means he'll only need 3 legs in his next game against Steve West to confirm progression into the final 4. That's how the game went from a statistical viewpoint. Parry beating Kachuk by 4 legs to 2. We'll now head back into Group 1 on the other side of this short break as Barry Copeland takes on Richie Howson.
No trebles needed here. But he gets one anyway. 2 8s.
Game shot on the third
and he
leg.
Converts. He has turned this around. After all.
For this to win the middle match of Group 1. Tops of the match, it's just about in. But there was full conviction about that one. And Richie Howson's on the board. It was a slow start for the Seniors Champion of Champions. Barry Copeland missed numerous opportunities to make it 2-0. And from that point onwards, Howson really kicked into gear. He gets over the line 4-1, an average of 85. 4 from 7 on the doubles. Copeland 1 from 8 on the outer ring. He's going to have to wait and await his fate. For Howson, he is pretty much there now. Coming up after the break, Kurt Parry takes on Steve West.
What he's played before he has. He can see what people are doing. 18 for tops. He's been hitting it all week. 34 in 25 and a bit games. Oh, he's on it tonight. My word. Team West love that. It's 30 darts for the first 2 legs.
And that man's been Steve West, the 4-time weekly winner, who is most certainly putting the wheels in motion towards a 5th weekly title. And it is a 4-0 win against Kurt Parry, which, as far as he's concerned, is as good enough to put him through to the semi-finals as anything else could be. He gets the better of Parry by 4 legs to 0. For Kurt, he's got to hope that Steve does something likewise against Christoph Kachuk in the final game of the pool stages. 4 from 4 on the doubles. He kicked off with a ton plus checkout. His average just under 97. West beats Parry 4-0. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Richie Howson in action up against Wayne Jones. 2 stars of the World Seniors Tour going toe-to-toe.
The Wanderer right now is wandering around the stage looking fairly forlorn. Double 16. Sees the owl double the lead. Things are looking fairly bleak. 118 is the number that will take Howson through as the group winner.
And the double that will send Barry Copeland through as well. Richie Howson dumps Wayne Jones out, sends Barry Copeland through, and as a consequence ensures that he is top of the group. He will have the advantage of throw in his respective semi-final. Job done for Richie Howson. An improvement from game one as well, numerically and statistically. Back-to-back 4-1 wins has established Richie Howson as the player to beat tonight. He gets the better of Wayne Jones. He's the victor in Group 1. Now down to see what we're going to watch in the final game of Group 2 as Steve West takes on Krzysztof Kachuk.
Now he's running the risk of being behind. Are you watching Kurt Parry?
Another leads double 5. A single leaves the bull. Double 5. Tied Turner. Group changer.
Kachuk. Can he win and go through? He has won by 4 legs to 3, and by the finest of margins, the poll has survived. And Kurt Parry is not going to the semi-finals for the first time in his Saturdays here in Portsmouth. Krzysztof, I'm sure, is aware of it, but Steve West had a chance of getting rid of the poll for the rest of the week. He may have to play him a little bit more because they could meet in the final a little bit later on. The poll survives, but West wins the group, and we will debrief after this. 54% on doubles. Copeland 25. I wonder if that is giving us information as to who's going to be in the final.
Bullseye. Does he go for it? He does, and he finds. The Amel sends out an instant statement of intent.
But now that Howson is missing, someone's got to step up and change the game.
He had a game-changing 130 against Steve West. And that 150 could be a game-changer against Howson. They are hitting each other with haymaker blows here. Howson with the 161.
Who has been in this position before from this fixture. This has to be found. That's not the worst start.
But it's one dart. A double 16 to save Richie Howson's skin. Because Krzysztof Kachuk was coming back for 48 to win the match.
Howson needs one more double to have a chance of Champions Week.
And Richie is a game away from picking up the riches here at the Live Lounge. He beats Krzysztof Kachuk in a last leg decider to send himself through to a second final here in Portsmouth. And it'll be either Steve West or Barry Copeland that'll be waiting for him. That was a tight, tense tungsten tussle, but it was won by Howson, who edges out Kachuk by 4 legs to 3. For Kachuk, it was a fine debut. It'll end at the semi-finals. I'm sure we'll see him again before the year's out. But for Howson, he is into the final once more, where he will take on either one of Steve West or Barry Copeland, and we'll watch them in action after this short break.
Helter-skelter effect to give him consistent grip from top to bottom. It hasn't worked in leg 4. Double 16 for Copeland. We are tied.
Best leg of the match, a 12 darter for Barry Copeland.
170.
He doesn't need to find it. And if he gets 2 trebles, he probably shouldn't go for it. Thou shalt not give in to temptation.
126.
And he's missed the single. I don't think he was caught in 2 minds there. I think he was caught in about 6 or 7.
And the other thing is he's going to have to spurn a dart upon his return. So in some ways, it was better off going for the bullseye. Copeland's left to finish. He's left 145. 4 tots are West. for 3-2 to West.
Being
And he is
shown
one
at
away
Steve West.
from another final.
The final winning dart should be imminent.
He gets 2 at tops. Big dart, big moment to return to the big match. And Steve West is 1 game away from completing the comeback tale. Away for 8 months because of hip surgery. It's like he's never been away. And he could be heading back to the winners' enclosure, spurred on by his family and his friends. He's made a new friend this week in Barry Copeland, the daddy who's been delightful on debut. But for him, the semi-finals is as far as it goes. But for that man, one of the most perennial winners on that stage, Steve West, is into a 5th weekly final. He could overtake Neil Duff in terms of most weekly title wins. He could equal him in terms of most titles all told. Barry Copeland, as he departs the stage, he gives his acclaim to the crowd, but it is Steve West who will be playing in the big match. He's going to be taking on Richie Howson for the prize that is Champions Week in a couple of weeks' time. That game is in about 10 minutes' time, but before that, we'll get all the analysis with Paul Nicholson and Chris Murphy, and that's coming up after this short break.
If you keep leaving Westy on tops, he's going to beat you.
Getting shot on the 3rd leg, Steve West.
West moves in front. Is he making his move? There's the family. They're beginning to get excited.
He has not been part of a double start week. He's not been part of an influencer event. He's not won a series yet. But he has been a perennial winner of weeks like this. He is within 380 points of doing it for a 5th time.
Howson won't give up. That's not in his nature. But Steve West is taking this game away from him. He's closing in. The fairy tale story is so close now to having its Cinderella ending.
100.
He's got 6 darts from 200 to do it.
140.
In front of most of the people that have supported him for the last year and beyond. And it is going to be
135.
double top, you feel. For history at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
Game, shot, and the match. And the winner of the Modern Super Series, Series 8, Week 11, it's simply the West, Steve West!
The comeback is complete! Or is the comeback only starting? 5-star Steve West is the first person to win 5 qualifying Saturday nights. It means a lot to him. 29 games played in a week. He had 7 months on the sofa, and every single person that means so much to him is in the building to witness Steve West become a Super Series superstar. And my word, has he got some stuff to do in the next couple of weeks, because Westy is back in Champions Week. He has won the final by 4 legs to 1. I think he needs a little bit of a break, because there are some people in the audience who have flocked to Portsmouth, all to see the possibility of that. An average of 87. It's pretty much what he's been doing all night. The doubles were good enough. My word, what a story. What a week it has been. Richie Howson fails to win that weekly title. He falls at the final hurdle one more time. But I'm sure when the dust settles, he will be very, very pleased for his good friend Steve West. What a story we have seen all week long. A very long week. An historic week. It is now 5 weekly titles for West. Nobody has done that before. And what we're going to do now is we're going to get a little bit of a word from our host Chris Murphy as Steve West composes himself. That final was brilliant. And it was Steve West 4, Howson 1.
Yeah, here are the winners through to Series 8, and Steve West to the Series 8 Champions Week, and Steve West is one of them. He's on that list. We are going to hear from him very, very shortly. He joins Tom Sykes, Jim Long, Richard Rowlands, Jimmy Van Ski, Neil Duff, Paul Hogan, Adam Paxton, Connor Scott, Thomas Banks, Marvin Van Velzen, and now Steve West is on that list. And he has composed himself, and we can now hear from an emotional Steve West alongside Henry Deacon.
Steve, many, many congratulations. We can see what it means to you. This has been a very emotional week. It's been a very emotional time for yourself. And, well, what a story. You come back from hip surgery, you come here after getting married, and you win a week of the Super Series. Yeah. Don't get better than that, does it?
No. Well, yeah, it could, I suppose, but no. At the moment, no, don't. I don't know what to say. I'm in bits at the minute, and I just wanted to do well. That's it. Just show what maybe I'm coming back a little bit, and to win it is just stupid. Really stupid.
Monday morning, did you believe this was possible?
No, I thought I'd be going home on Thursday night. It was rubbish, but, you know, here we are.
Let's talk about this evening. Let's talk about the games this evening first and foremost, because you got out the traps flying in your first match and then defeated in your second one. However, the semi-finals and finals may not be envisaged in terms of performances, but one thing you seemed to have done very well was when it came to the pressure moments, keeping it together. That composure was there at the big moments tonight.
Yeah, I battled a little bit. I needed to battle. There's a lot of good players here this week, the whole week, and there's a few of them that I haven't beaten. Christian's one of them. I haven't beaten him all week, you know, and to get through it just means so much.
This is your 5th weekly title. Everything considered, is this the best one of the lot?
I would say so, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely the best one. Makes me feel good.
Altogether, is this one of the best nights you've ever had in darts?
I wouldn't go that far, but it's close. It is close.
And it's a very poignant night for yourself, because I'm not going to try and tee you up too much. However, it's a very special night. You've got friends, you've got family, a lot of people that you haven't seen for a lot of years here as well here this evening. To win it in front of all of them, how special is that?
It's the first time I played on stage, on TV and cameras in front of my children, my 2 oldest kids, my nephew, my brother, my ex-wife, her boyfriend. They're all here, and it's just, honestly, it's amazing. It's brilliant. And Grace and Dan here, they just come down from Hertfordshire just to say, go on, Westy, we're here. And I appreciate that so much. It's unreal.
This time last week, you were getting married. How is a honeymoon in Portsmouth?
Honeymoon was great. How was the wedding, Henry?
It was okay, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, the shots were good.
Right, anyway. On that note, sporting trade secrets here and all the rest of it. We've been here a couple of times before, Steve, haven't we?
I think we have, yeah.
Where that trophy gets lifted, but you get this, the smiles there again, and you get this special caveat because... Okay, Tifa here as well. You get this special caveat because this time, all of those people that mean so much to you are here to watch you do what you're about to do again. This is a record. Nobody's ever won 5 weekly titles. They have now. And I'm going to let you have your moment. Ladies and gentlemen, for a 5th time, the weekly winner is Steve West.
And what a emotional moment, what a magical moment for that man there, Steve West. Yeah, the record is fantastic, but the manner of the victory and the story that led up to it, Paul Nicholson, it's a remarkable feat, isn't it?
It's everything to Steve West right now. What an 8 days he's had. He will never forget the past 8 days. Everything from Saturday morning last week when he was getting ready to get married, and now leading into Sunday morning. Every single one of those people right there, they are rejoicing at him being back to the person who comes to this place and rules the roost. That's an incredible moment between 2 very successful dart players, a great darting family, running in the family. We've said it all week long, but he's going to have to come back. He's coming back in about 9 days' time.
Yeah, the story could get even better, and there we see him being congratulated by all his friends and family. The Lady that just hugged him there, Grace Ferridge, a player on the women's series. You can see Richie Housen in the background. In fact, that's Richie's wife, Lynn, as well. So it just shows the warmth between these two darting families as well.
Yeah, there's a huge respect between a lot of the darting families in the greater London area, and especially Essex, because Steve lives on the Essex-Hertfordshire border. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? The spirit of the Super Series in a nutshell between two incredible talents. And you may just see them going toe-to-toe in seniors in the next few years. But West's coming back, and I would love to see the likes of Copeland, who was stuck around to see this moment. I'd like to see them back as well. They are painting this place in the right light. And it's the right thing. But look at that. That is what this is all about. You can bring your family if you're successful, and you can have moments like this yourself. If you dream to be a dart player, to have success, these are the kind of moments that you can have with hard work, with patience, and if you've got the talent. He spent months on the sofa watching this product, saying, that's my place. And it is again.
Last week they were saying, I do. Tonight he's saying, I did. Steve West having achieved that historic win this evening. Look, we saw the emotion in all of those moments there from Steve West. We've been doing this a couple of years now at the Super Series. We're coming up for 100 weeks. We've never had to delay the trophy presentation before because one of the players has got so emotionally, he just wanted to compose himself.
It means something to people, this place. And if you think about what Steve's career was like before he came here, it was a bit unknown. He was at a bit of a crossroads. He didn't know where he was going. Was he going to go back to the WDF? Was he going to go and just stay local, go back to the PDC? This place has given him a home. People have called this home over the last 2 years. Neil Duff has had huge success. Steve West is again a success. And there aren't many times that people have had that kind of reaction when it comes to winning a weekly title. Can you even imagine what it would be like if he won the whole series?
Yeah, and nobody's done that more than him. So to do that for a fifth time and still have that feeling, that special feeling, that release, it just shows that there's much more to this win than perhaps any of the other four.
Yeah, I think more than anything, it's just about hard work paying off. Coming here this week, it was a little bit of a gamble because when his hip surgery came around, they were starting to look at recovery times. When can I go back to darts? With the help of his family, and especially Michelle, who's been looking at his calendar saying, look, we're getting married in August. You're going to be okay by then, but when are you going to go back? And it just so happened that when they were programming the diary, well, this week came up and they both looked at each other and said, do it. As long as you're ready to do it, you do it. And he has done it. And now we're going to be talking about this week for many, many years because people getting to 5 titles, that doesn't happen every year, never mind every month or week.
Absolutely. I do just want to talk about Richie Housen. It does take 2 to tango, and he's had a fantastic week himself. The first time he's played a full week on the stage. There he is, revelling with Barry Copeland as well, another exciting talent who has had a really good debut. It's been a good week, all told, hasn't it? Steve West, of course, is the story. But, I mean, Richie Housen said it in his interview at the very start of the night. It just showed how difficult that Group A was, that 5 of them ended up making it tonight.
Yeah, very much so. And we just don't know. That might happen again next week. We've had some curious stuff happening in Week 11. I mean, that thing that happened in Group B where the fixtures from Thursday were almost replicated identically for Friday. I'm not sure that'll ever happen again. However, Week 11 will always belong to West here. But we can't forget some of the other things that have happened. Some great strength, and he's been pushed as well. Some weeks you come, you dominate. Connor Scott was pushed in his final with Colin Osborne, but he was a dominant force that week. This week, West has been doing it the West way, which is the hard way. 29 games, off a surgery, and he's probably going to be hurting tomorrow, but he's only got a week to recover.
Yeah, Henry Deacon, as Steve West mentioned, was at that wedding. Well, the fort was being held by myself. You were there as well, weren't you, Paul? But I won't hold that against you. Steve West holds a trophy for the 5th time at the Super Series. It is a remarkable story. Look, people are fully aware of what he's been through to get there. What does he do now? What should be the plan next week before returning for Champions Week for Steve West?
I think the key to next week is going to be minimal practice, because he's thrown thousands upon thousands upon thousands of darts this week. So rest up for a few days, evaluate physically, evaluate mentally with your team, and then when you get to about Wednesday, Thursday, start ticking over a little bit, because everybody else is going to be ticking over, and he's going to be in the same Champions Week as Thomas Banks. He's going to be in there with the likes of Jimmy Van Ski, who he knows pretty well, and he's going to be in there with previous weekly winners as well. There are going to be lots of people in Champions Week who've never been there before, but there are going to be some usual suspects, and one of them is Neil Duff, who's going to look at that and be more motivated than ever.
Does Steve West immediately go into that Champions Week as one of, if not the favourite, after the performance he's put in this week?
I think we have to be fair. We can get caught up in the emotion and the occasion, and we can easily say that he's the favourite. He's one of the favoured people. We still look at Scott. We still look at Sykes. We look at Van Ski with fresh eyes over the last few weeks, because he's been gunning since week 4. And we can't forget about Neil Duff. Banks was brilliant as well in week 9, but how good was Van Velsen last week? He had a 9-darter. So Steve knows how to do that en route to a Champions Week. Marvin does. But I think if we're being fair, Connor Scott is the favourite right now, because the way he played in his week and the way he's played since typifies what a favourite should be.
I think that is very fair, and I've really enjoyed your company. I'm sure the viewers have as well. Steve West getting the win. Thank you, Paul. We will see you soon. And we hope to see you soon here at the Modus Super Series. If you've never been down here on a Saturday night, for moments like that, you should be. So get to dartshop.tv and book your tickets as soon as possible. But once again, on a Saturday at the Super Series, a week on from his wedding, Steve West and the Modus Super Series proved to be a marriage made in heaven. But the fun and the thrills don't end there, because the final week before Champions Week in Series 8 gets underway on Monday morning. See you then.
That's what's called a samurai. This is what's called a 148 checkout.
Bomberg looks for the ball. He gets the
Game
ball.
shot on the
It's a
fourth leg.
1-6-1. Coulson changed that matter on tops. Oh!
Double 14. Somebody's cooking now. Let me take the whole thing. In 3. It's wonderful.
But these are big. They don't get bigger than the big.